Hello there. I'm Sin. We are in the Book Nook, and today we're going to talk about a fantasy series that I need to finish. There are three of them. We're going to talk about the reasons I didn't finish them, why I want to get back to them. I don't know what my deal is with fantasy series. I have a hard time reading series. Recently, though, I did just finish the Dark Tower series by Stephen King, which was absolutely amazing. Loved it. The first series I need to get back to reading is the Witcher series. I read the first three books and then I got distracted because I just wanted to go play Gwent all the time in the tavern and hang out with bards. Obviously, that was the reason I stopped reading it. No, I don't even know. I don't know that there was a specific reason I do that. I get distracted by so many other books that are out there that I could possibly read that I don't know. And I actually have the next book in the series right here, A Time of Contempt. I plan to read this month. I'm gonna get back into it. No more getting distracted by Gwent. Yeah, I think I read the first couple books were like short stories, and I thought those were okay. And then I read the third book, and that was like one solid story, and I like that a lot more than the short stories. So yeah, we're gonna get back into this, and I think we're gonna finish this one. I think this one too, especially will be one series that I read this year. I think I can only really do like one series a year. I just get too distracted by other stuff and have too much stuff going on. That is the first one. All right, so the next series I should finish. So I started the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson, and I read the first two books. Okay, yeah. So I have The Hero of Ages, the third book. And I know it started out as a trilogy and there's more books after this, but I definitely need to read this because I absolutely loved and adored the first two books. Why didn't I keep going? Like the other two, I flew through. And I also knew as soon as I start them, I can't put them down. So maybe like, does that detract from it? It shouldn't. It should make me want to read it more, right? I don't know why this one either, but I do want to get back to this one. And if I do, I think what I'm going to do is I would probably just read this. And then I don't know when I'll get to the other ones. I think what I want to try to do is to read this one this year and then the other ones in the series we'll do further down the road. Because originally I think just these three, it was supposed to be a trilogy, but then Brandon Sanderson, he's a maniac and a wordsmith, and he likes to write and write and write. It just kept going. I know I look forward to this. I know I'll like it. I think I'm just really bad at reading series. And you know why I was able to finish the Dark Tower series this past year? Because I read it with a buddy. Me and Jason of Jason's Weird Reads read the complete Dark Tower series together. We still do have like the prequel Wind in the Keyhole, but we read all the main books. Or sorry, Wind Through the Keyhole that we do need to read hopefully at some point this year. Yeah, that one was great. I think sometimes it's just keeping yourself motivated. Like when you have another person to read a series with and you're actually like, you don't want to let the other person down, or it gives you a reason to keep going. And so maybe that just makes it a little bit easier. I do not know. I wouldn't want to finish these if I didn't enjoy the stories and the characters and like the writing. Like The Witcher, I think originally why I started reading that is because I played the game and I loved it. I've never seen the TV show, but I was more interested in reading it because of based off playing the video game. So that is definitely want to return to that. And same with the Brandon Sanderson. I love his writing. It's fantastic. I like his standalone books. I do better with standalones, obviously, because then I don't have to commit to like a certain number of books and whatnot. So the third fantasy series that I need to finish, Lord knows if we'll ever do this, but I did really enjoy all the books I read up until the point that I got to. So that series is the Wheel of Time series. I read the first 7 books. And after reading the first 7 books, I was like, good God, there's 7 more. Then I just stopped. And I think the reason that I stopped was for a year. This is before book 2. For 1 year, all I read was The Wheel of Time. Being on BookTube has greatly increased the amount of books I read. And at that point in time, like those books were really large too. Like that is all I read for the whole year. And at some point I was like, I really want to read other books. But The Wheel of Time, my job at the time as well, it just, and my life of like what was going on, I just didn't have time to read other books outside The Wheel of Time. So I stopped reading the series. And I think losing that momentum I lost the motivation to keep going. And I know like it begs the question too, like if I did restart it, like a lot of people are like, oh, well, I'd want to go back and reread. I wouldn't reread the first seven. No, I would just pick up at eight and continue it to finish the series. And what's crazy too is that I didn't even know that because Robert Jordan, he had passed away, and that Brandon Sanderson finished like the last few books in the series. Like I think I found that out like way later. My partner and I used to stream on Twitch, and one of our mods recommended the series to me because they knew I like to read and I like fantasy series. And so I started reading it. And like I said, I read the first seven books and then just crashed hard and did not return to it. So that's what I would like to return to. I say this, but I don't know when I would. It's definitely not going to be this year. I already know that because I want to commit to finishing the Witcher books because there's not that many. And there's another one coming out. I think in May, there's an actual new book that's going to come out. I want to say there are, so maybe there's 4 or 5 more books in this series. I'm not 100% sure. I got to look it up. But yeah, I got a trip coming up to, there's this used bookstore that I go to from time to time. It is my absolute favorite. They have an amazing horror section, which a lot of used bookstores I go to, their horror section is like a shelf or two. This one is like huge. Their selection is amazing. And they also had a bunch of the Witcher books last time I was there. Now that I've said that out loud, all those books are going to be gone. But I'm hoping some of them are still there so I can, if they have the rest of the series, I want to buy the rest of the series because usually it's like maybe like 6 or 7 books, $6 or $7, not books, for the books there. So yeah, I would like to do that. I'm just trying to act normal here in my my cloak and my druid horns. Are these druid horns? I don't know. I just thought this was appropriate for talking about fantasy series that I need to finish. I like fantasy. Obviously, I like horror too because I talk about a lot of horror, but I am a big fantasy nerd and I used to play D&D. I miss playing D&D and I've been thinking about it a lot recently, especially because I've been watching Viva La Dirt League. They are a basically like a comedy sketch channel, but they also do they have another channel that does D&D. I had started watching their campaign. I think I'm on like episode 34. There's like 200 and something episodes, and it really makes me horribly miss playing D&D. The last time I played, I was a tiefling sorcerer. But I think if I played again, I would definitely want to go druid of some sort. I think about that sometimes. I do know a DM, not that lives in anywhere near me, but these are random thoughts with sin of my nerdness. Also, why don't people wear cloaks anymore? Look at how cool they look. I got this big hood that my hair is all weird and it's gonna look stupid if I put it over my horns. Does this work? Oh yeah, that looks not good. Yeah, maybe if I didn't, oh, look at this. Help. This is why you don't do this, Sin. Calm down. We all right here? Anyway, I like to get sidetracked. Oh, now my horns are all messed up. There we go. Those are the series that I need to finish, that I started and then just kind of like fell off into the ether somewhere because of who knows. Well, I guess I kind of had sort of reasons, life, distraction, Gwent, Witcher stuff. Screw it, let's just play Gwent. Does anyone really understand how Gwent works? Because I'm still not sure how that game works. It's fun. It's fun to get sidetracked. It's like in Red Dead Redemption playing poker, like not feeling like really going out and doing stuff and just like, I'm just gonna sit around and play poker. Or at least, well, poker you understand, right? That's a lot easier to understand than Gwent. Gwent is just like, I got this card, and this card. Why is this one kill everything? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling about Gwent. I'm gonna go and play Gwent and try to figure out what it's all about. I'll get back to you guys about that. Do you have any fantasy series that you need to finish? Did you fall off in the middle? Did you read a couple and you just weren't interested? Or do you have ones that you want to get back to? Like, what are your fantasy series that you haven't finished that you're like, man, I really should read this and I really should finish this? I can't be alone, right? It can't be just me who does this. I did that to 3 different series. What's wrong with me? I'm like, yeah, didn't finish this series, might as well start another series. Anywho, if you enjoyed hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.